Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Distance Dilemma podcast. My name is Sean Finn. This is my good friend Imran Malik Mahir. Did I get that right this week?
No,
No,
it's
right.
not. It's lads. It's not my hair. It's Mar.
Mar.
And that's the funny thing is Mar is an Irish surname, and he still pronounces it
Is
wrong.
that is it Irish?
Yeah, it's a Tipperary country name.
Oh.
We should do one week where I do the introductions. Like
Yeah.
every
All right, so
every
let's
every
just
week
scrap
it's
that.
been
Right.
Sean.
Let's just scrap the whole thing. Let's just leave the floor to you. You can do all the introductions.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Distance Dilemma. I'm your host Imran Malik Mar, and we have my good friend Sean Finn. Hey,
I was expecting you to
let's
go. This is my
go.
good friend Shane Flynn, or something.
Seamus.
Shane.
Sean without a H.
That was
How you been?
my old pro clubs character was Seamus McFinnigan. Do you remember that back in
Respect.
the day?
Pro clubs?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I don't think I played pro clubs much with you.
No, we should just like play like FIFA 13, I think it was.
Yeah,
FIFA 13, FIFA 16.
back in peak days.
The good old days, peak
Do
music
you
days.
still play any FIFA at all?
Yeah, I mean, I stupidly bought the new one because I play pro clubs with Nicola's family. But we kind of both all didn't really like it this year, so we kind of stopped playing after like 3 weeks.
Mm,
So only recently I started playing career mode, but it's pretty much the same shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
bought it for the first time in years, just because like it was on sale at Christmas for like 20 quid, and it was
yeah.
just like I don't even have a it's like it was on Simone's Switch, and Simone said, and she was like, "Oh, FIFA's 20 quid if you want to buy it." And I was
What's
like,
it like FIFA like on the Switch? Is it like the
it's the
exact
same
same?
thing. It's the exact same because
Yeah,
we have one of those controllers. Like we primarily like leave it plugged into our telly. So I
yeah,
have one of those. Like it's the Switch controller, but it's basically the Xbox controller. You know.
yeah, yeah. I
So
have one of them where it's
it's
the
the exact
joysticks in.
same. Like I have found though, like obviously the Switch is a lot less powerful than like an Xbox. So
Yeah, yeah,
it like it varies, but like the game is so different because I haven't played it in like 5 years
yeah.
as well. Like I literally just it's more like one of those things. Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm buzzing to play FIFA. It's more like I've got 10 minutes to kill. If I go into my office, I'm gonna be in my office for an hour. Whereas like I can kill
Yeah.
10 minutes on FIFA pretty easily. Like so I
You do
bought
any
like it
career
sucks
modes?
back. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna just do a Chelsea career mode to be safe, just because like
Yeah.
career mode's so different now, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
it's
There's so much to
mad
do.
different. Like I like
You have so
especially.
much things to do.
Oh, it's actually such a pain in the arse. Like I was like, I spent a good like week trying to figure out like how to get through preseasons in career mode.
You have to do like scout reports, you have to do transfer negotiations, talk about
Like
percent rate. Like Jesus
proper
Christ, lads, come
detail.
on. Yeah, like I feel like I'm playing like what's it called on the PC, the FIFA manager. What's it called?
Football manager. Yeah,
Football manager, yeah.
yeah. No, not ideal. But like, sorry, bro. We'll stop talking about FIFA because I know it's not a worldwide topic for our listeners. So
Sorry, women.
that's a very sexist thing to say, man. It's a very sexist thing.
Oh no, I'm joking.
We're an
I'm joking. I'm
inclusive
joking.
podcast. We're a very
Yeah,
inclusive
yeah, I'm
podcast
joking.
here.
I'm
Well,
joking.
half of us are anyway. So, or maybe because I'm bigger, like in size, I would maybe say like 60-40. You know, something like that. 60-40 is inclusive. You
Yeah.
know,
Small
but yeah,
number.
it's been a weird. This is. I feel like I haven't spoken to you in ages because we recorded last week's episode on the Monday, and we usually record on Thursday. I had the gig on the Thursday, so we pretty much haven't recorded an episode in like 2 weeks. It's actually been like 13 days because we're recording this on a Sunday night instead because you couldn't do the usual Thursday slot this week.
Yeah.
So it feels like young since I've talked to you. So like, just how's life been? How was your Valentine's Day? Did you get up to anything romantic on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, so I was actually working Valentine's Day, which kind of
Very
sucked. But
romantic. Love that.
when we got home, we were very posh and had a cheese board and a bottle of wine, and we watched 21 Jump Street because
You
Nick had never
are.
seen it before.
I never knew you were a wine man, Imran.
I am, I am a very exquisite wine man. White wine, get on it. Trust me. I know
White
you don't
wine.
drink, but a white wine is it's nice, nice with a bit of wheat, but white meat.
I thought you
Yeah, I
said
have to
wheat.
say
I
so.
was like, what, like wheat bix
Yeah,
or bread
yeah.
or
Wheat mix and a bottle of wine.
love
Try it. I don't
that.
know. 2 scoops of sugar, a bit of banana. How are you been?
Oh. Yeah, fine. Really, really busy last week. The week of when we were recording last, super busy. The car passed the NTT, so we're good in that regard. Still have no sight of a driving test,
Come on,
but
Betsy.
come on, Betsy's passed the NTT, so that's a start. Like because like
She's alive
I
and kicking.
she's been out of NTT since Christmas Day, and I just like I've been like less on the like drive like cancellations for driving tests and stuff because like I can't do one while
Yeah.
it's at NCT, so I can like kind of start to jump back on that bandwagon, you know. But yeah, I've been a lot less busy for the last week. Like this week that we're recording of has been like a very comparatively quiet month. I'm like, I've actually seen you every day this week. This is actually nice for a change, like, you know, because I'm
The
usually like,
first one out of
yeah,
the
like
house.
I'm usually it's thing like I'm usually just out. I was like, there was like periods over like November, December where like I saw someone like twice a week. And I live where I literally share a bed, like, you know.
It's
But like
funny
I
because
was,
sometimes you actually see them less once you start working full time. Even though you
yeah,
live together, it's weird. Like some weeks you'll go like a lot seeing each other, and the following week you won't see each other at all.
yeah, but like it's like for example like days where like I have rehearsals with the lads, like
Yeah.
I'll like Simone will be gone by 7, so like I wake up at like 8, half 8, something like that. So when I wake up, she's gone, and but when she's on the way home, like I'll finish work at 5, but I need to get to the studio for 7, so I'll leave the house by like because I'm still waiting on a driving test. Thanks very much, RSA. It's been a year waiting for the test, but it takes me about an hour and a half to get to the studio, so I'm
Yeah.
leaving here about half 5, quarter to 6, and so by the time I get home from the studio, then an hour and a half after that, it's like quarter to 11, and because Simone's up at 6, she's knocked out of sleep, like, you know.
No, leave. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
I get that as well though, because most of my times I don't finish till 10:30. By the time I get the bus home, half dinner, shower, it's nearly 11:30, quarter to 12, and Nicola's already sleeping because she's up early.
yeah.
So that can be annoying.
What's the public transport situation like over there compared? Because like Ireland has, well, I don't know if it's famous like, elsewhere, but like we all know how terrible transport in Ireland
So
is. Like, is
bad
it
in Ireland.
like how
Trains,
is it?
so buses are every 14 minutes and they're regular, they're always on time, never late. Um, like I've actually the longest I've had to wait for a bus was like 2 minutes. Like that's the most it was ever delayed. Train times, there's one every 20 minutes. So it's not like Ireland where it's like one every hour. But the only problem is the transport's so expensive here. And you'll see it when yourself and Simone come over. Like for one way travel for each stop is £4.
Jesus.
So if you're going one stop, it's £4. If you're going to the last stop, it's £4. And that's every time, which kind of
It's
sucks.
kind of like how they have it with the leap cards over here. Where I know it's only £2, but like it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you're going to like once you get past a certain, like once like say if you're going from Blanche, like once you get out of Blanche and go to like Cabra, it doesn't
Mm,
matter if you're going to Cabra or if you're going to the back end of town, it's going to cost you two
yeah.
quid.
I got a monthly bus pass now and it's like 80 francs and that covers me for three different lines within the main city and I can get as much as possible because each time I was paying, like if I got the bus four times in a day, it was like 12 franc. Or sorry, 16 franc, apologies.
Mm.
So like it's not worth that paying that every single day.
Yeah,
It
and
actually
it's
adds
not
up.
like the conversions isn't like crazy different either, is
Nah,
it? Like
not crazy different. No, it's fair enough the same. I think it's like 1 franc. It's like 1 franc 23 rands is like €1. So you're getting a little bit more on the franc, but
yeah, but then you're paying
when you
more
go
per
when
stop
but
as
when
well.
I'm
Then
paying but I'm paying more, especially when I'm going back to Ireland, it kind of sucks. But yeah, what
yeah,
can you do?
especially for your chicken fillets.
Yeah, the chicken fillets. Of course, each
Im-
got out.
just for some background, I don't know if we've explained this, but Imran, were you in the house when you said this to us, or were we just on the phone before we started the podcast? Where, oh no, this is when you came home in August, just
Yeah.
after the funeral. So yeah, Imran was just explaining. I'll let you explain. You can explain about me, but the price of chicken fillets in Switzerland is absolutely scandalous.
Oh my days, lads. Me and Nicola are actually on a walk today talking about all the differences between Switzerland and Ireland, and this is the biggest one. So, lads, for two chicken breasts, I'd say 200 kg. So that's 100 kg per chicken breast. Quick maths. Um, it's like 7 franc, which is the equivalent of like near enough like the €8 for two chicken breasts from Aldi. Not even your Marks and Spencers or your
And like
fancy
that's not
Tesco's or
100 grams per breast isn't like a big
that's
chicken breast to
tiny.
order. Like it's
That's
tiny.
the tiniest chicken breast. That's like the chicken breast you give your child. Seriously, like, but yeah, it's just mental. Like,
Mm.
and even eating out for dinner, it can be expensive here. But you know, it's all about looking. You do find places where the prices are a bit better, but you just need to look. But
Yeah.
in the general area, it's fairly expensive.
I think like that's where we're kind of like Ireland. I know it's Ireland is definitely not cheap to live in by any means, like, you know.
No,
But I find like I don't think like me and Simone would spend probably like between 100 and 120 quid a week in a food shop, and that's
mm,
just for the two of us for like 6 days. Like we usually get takeaway one day, and then like breakfast, lunch, dinner for
Yeah.
6 days for us. Like so, I don't feel that's like super unreasonable. But I think where Ireland in general is quite good is because we have like good quality beef and dairy and stuff here. Like the only
Oh
thing we
yeah.
really mass import is like wheat. Like vegetables
Mm.
grow quite easily. Like obviously we're quite famous for spuds, which it's a crop that grows well here, and there's a lot of farmland here. So I think that's where you're having that bit of a difference over there, because I like, as far as I know, it's more just mountains over there. Like it's not as much of like
Mountain ranges.
Greenland where you've got lots of you know
No.
like lots of places for like cows to go and wander, and you've got lots of like pig farms and chickens and all that sort of stuff. So
There's a
that's
lot
where I
of
feel like you're
there.
probably seeing that.
Mm, there is a farming industry here. It's just fairly small compared to Ireland. Like the produce they might mainly do here is cheese, milk. But again, anytime I've ever had milk or dairy or any meat products, it's always better in Ireland. But I think it's because you grow up eating that food, so it's
Yeah,
weird when you go away and difference. But we make it work a lot. Fairly enough, like a lot of the stuff is similar pricing. Like we find that soft drinks are actually cheaper here because they don't have to pay the sugar tax.
yeah.
So you're not like your so a Coke here is like 1 franc, where at home it's like 1.15 or 1.25. So like little things like that kind of
You
like
don't
pick
have
up,
the
especially the monsters.
you don't have the deposit return scheme as well to worry
Yeah,
about up there as well.
yeah, for real, for
Which
real.
is like I get it. It's just a pain in the hole having that big bag
Yeah,
of empty cans like sitting there, and then
sir.
when you go up to the shops and do it, it stinks of alcohol. Like just smell
It's
the stale
so
beer. Like
weird.
like in the
Yeah,
you worked in pubs as well. Like like that smell of like
yeah,
a keg that's after been sitting there for too long. It's been empty for too long. It hasn't been
yeah.
collected. Like it's a rotten old
I
smell.
hate when you're picking up the bottles and like one of the bottles is wet.
It's
Like
sticky
it's
and
like
stuff.
another
Yeah,
beer sticky in your hand. Yeah, I'm having
yeah.
that at the
No,
moment in the pub. Like I've been helping at the bar.
big.
Um, big news week. Like I don't know how we haven't actually said this yet. Crocs
Oh
contacted
yeah.
us, like
Well,
full on well, not contact. Sorry, not
contact is
contacted.
a
Bit
bit,
overhyped
bit of a
now. Yeah,
stretch.
bit.
But
But
yeah,
hey,
yeah, the Crocs Europe page have well, yeah, they've been in touch. Why not? They've been in touch.
you know,
They commented on the
sponsorships on
video
the way.
about loving it. So anybody from the Crocs team who is maybe scouting or interested in the next episode, we are more than happy
We
to do any
are
sort of back
hands
endorsement.
down. You know what I mean?
I only
I can
bought a
see
pair of
it.
Crocs 2 weeks ago for Simone for Valentine's Day. I got her a new set of Crocs because she's had hers for like a year and a half. So I just got her a fresh set. And now she's two.
It's
She's
pod.
one set for like
Uh,
pottering around. Like she's got a set for pottering around the house, or a fresh set. But like she always wanted to wear them when we were like doing like as you
Parents.
know, we're painting the house loads right now, and we're like doing
Yeah,
bits up
yeah,
to the house, like But so we didn't want to ruin our Crocs by wearing them. But now
yeah.
she has that, so I might upgrade my Crocs at some point. They should
We were
be
actually saying the other night that we want to
with
get a second
wings
pair of Crocs
Crocs.
for have that one Crocs as like if you're outside in the balcony and or like walking around like if you wanted to go to the shop and you weren't arse like getting properly changed, you want to just throw on a pair of Crocs and you can run across the road. You
Yeah.
want to like a pair to do that and then like a pair to have in the house. So again, Crocs, please sponsor us.
I'm honestly would
Yeah,
love it. We talked about Crocs quite a lot in the last episode, so we
yeah.
won't go on too much. But yeah, anybody from the Crocs team, just put this on the record again. Anybody from the Crocs team or anybody from the Krusty Corner who wants any endorsement or sponsorships, or again, if you just want your kids minded for the weekend, we're more than happy to help.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but like if you're talking about like the differences between like Ireland and Switzerland, like do you like what's the like everyday things you miss, like just the small things, like do you miss just being able to come home from work and just stick on the chase?
No, it's more like for me, it's more the crack. Like it's especially I was saying with the language barrier here, and even when you're talking to the people here, you're so used to the crack and the banter at home that it might be different. So when you're trying to talk to people, they mightn't be as into the dark humor as the Irish are. A lot of Irish are into some wild comedy stories, and I think it's because like our folklore is mainly storytelling.
Mm.
So it's a bit of a difference from the culture here. I mean, people are nice here, and especially in the industries of like pubs, restaurants, and stuff like that. Everyone's lovely. But I mean, if you're meeting people on a general day to day basis, it's just stopping or giving the owl lad a wink when you're on a walk in the park, and picking stuff up and saying, "Oh, have a nice day," and how are you getting on, even though you probably don't even know them. Great weather we're having, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, I feel like some of that. like this kind of like stereotype, like the kind of like crack thing, and the kind of openness to kind of joke about things. So I've thought about this before, and I think it's more got to do with like Irish stereotypes, like Ireland, like are quite. I'd say like a stereotypical like thing for Irish people is like ginger, drink a lot of beer, and love potatoes. But if we're being quite honest with each other, a lot of Irish are like that. A lot of Irish people love to drink. I have
Our
potatoes
ginger.
every most days, and there's a large portion of our population which is ginger. My dog's
I have
ginger.
a
No
ginger
hate,
beard.
no hate, love that.
My beard
You
goes
know.
ginger as well. Makes
Simone,
no sense.
Simone used to say that to me, and I was like, "Go away! It doesn't go ginger."
I
Anybody
know,
who's watching
strawberry
the
blonde.
podcast, anybody who's watching the podcast on YouTube, which is an option if you so wish to see our faces in beautiful 720p, because I think that's the max that Zoom's going to let us record in. Um, but yeah, for me, I think it's a thing of like the Irish culture like really plays into their stereotypes, whereas like I feel like other cultures want to get away from their stereotypes. Whereas like, you know, like if you go to any pub in Ireland and you say, "Oh, the Irish are drunks," most of the pub will probably go,
Most people
"Way,"
are going,
you know. Whereas
hey,
like if you went and
yeah,
said something more like, you know, more kind of like stereotypical in other countries, they might be a bit like,
yeah.
it's a bit racist to be saying that. Like not racist, like, you know, but it's a bit offensive to say that, or it's a bit of um a generalization or something like that, like, you know. So I think that's where that kind of comes from, and that's my tangent for the week, folks.
The most thing I get from working in the pub here is like, you know, when a glass breaks, no one goes, way. Like in Ireland, that is like, it's like walking across the road in Ireland. Like if a glass breaks, every single person in the whole pub goes, way.
Peak comedy. What's that
Peak
culture like? Like what's
performance.
like? Because I used we've both worked in pubs, and I
Yeah.
hated it. I didn't like working in the pub at all. I didn't like the kind of like old man Guinness kind of culture. Like, you know, the whole like, you know, people obsessing over their pint of Guinness, and
Hmm.
you know, the whole vibe of pubs. Now that could just be because I don't like drinking as well, and it's probably one of the reasons why I don't still go to pubs, because I don't really like that kind of like drunk culture in a way. Like I'm not against drinking around like that. Obviously, like most of my friends drink, but I don't like when drinking gets messy. Like, you know, so
Hmm.
maybe that's tinted my view of like working in pubs and stuff. But like, what's been the big difference for you working in hospitality between Ireland and Switzerland?
Um, what's the difference? I think obviously pricing's a little bit different, like because here the pub is advertised as an Irish pub, so the price rates are a bit more expensive for a pint. But again, like I have to reiterate is that it's an Irish pub in a like highly economically country in Europe, one of the highest ones. So a pint is 9 franc, which is like 10 quid. But it's if you go to Temple Bar now, a pint of Bulmers is 9 quid. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same.
But like that's mad though, because you're not even in Zurich. Like you're not even in the capital where like most
No,
tourists are going. Like that's
no.
like you
If
are
you
a
go
bit
to
more out
the
in the country in that
yeah,
aspect. Like it's
yeah,
not the like, you know, when most people think of going to Switzerland, like it's probably going to be Basel or Zurich that people are going
yeah.
to, because that's where obviously the capital is, and that's where
Most
the
people know they
football
don't have
team
a
is as
capital.
well. Like, you know.
Because everyone thinks this that Zurich is the capital of Switzerland. There's no capital of Switzerland.
Oh really?
But yeah, I only learned that when I first moved over. Everyone thinks that Zurich is the capital, but it's one of the only countries in the world that doesn't have a capital. Another one is Bern, which is like an hour outside of where we live, and it's like a very similar one where that is kind of recognized as their capital because their parliament building meets there, or the parliament meets there
Yeah.
in Bern. So people also think that as well. But yeah, it's one of them countries that doesn't do it. I
That's
mean,
that.
it's
That's a great one for the chase. I'm going to use that in the chase
mm.
one of the days. You know.
There you go. We'll do our own episode of the chase.
Yeah.
Finn can be the chaser
Yeah. Well, I guess
in
obviously I'm going to be you know
the seal.
yeah, well, no, but like obviously I'm gonna be the Dark Destroyer, you know.
Yeah, he's got his own nicknames, folks.
That's one of the Chasers' nicknames.
Yeah, I know. That's what I
Yeah,
said.
okay, right. Oh, actually, that's actually not as funny because his name is actually Sean. I was just going
Yeah.
for like the absolute opposite of me, but his name actually is Sean, so that makes a lot of sense, and that's not as funny. And now I'm annoyed.
Comedy police are on tour.
Man, I love the chase. Man, like I watch the chase like 4 times a week.
I know you're like diehard Chase fan.
Yeah, if there was Chase Ultras, that's me. You know. Right, so we'll move on to the polls from last week. So we asked just 2 questions on Instagram. And the first one was all about our talking about working from home or working in the office last week. Now, kind of not really a surprise in the results of this one. 75% of people said they would rather work from home, and 25% said they'd rather go into the office. We got a couple of responses on that. First one being that when you work from home, you can do your own stuff from 5 o'clock and not just from 6:30 because the bus takes so long. Facts, especially like
Facts.
this person is also from Blanche as well. Like when I worked in town and I was living in Blanche, like the hike back to Blanche on that 39A is rough at peak traffic hour. Like,
A lot of my mates were the same. They a lot of them worked in town, so they get the bus in, and they wouldn't be getting back till mad late sometimes. Like your whole
yeah,
day is gone by the time
yeah,
you're
for sure.
home.
It's like that's one thing I love about like obviously working from home, but also where we live now because we're living in Ballyfermot. We're so close to town, and this was something me and Simone used to talk about quite a bit before we moved here. So like Simone's from Ballyfermot, and I went to college here as well for a while. So like I knew Ballyfermot well, and I knew like it was close enough to town, but I didn't realize until I lived here like how convenient it is to get into Dublin city centre from here
Yeah,
because like it's like minimum like even at like a not peak traffic hour for the 39 you're talking like 45-50 minutes to get into town from Blanche,
yeah.
whereas here like I've been in town in like less than 10 minutes from my house, which is like unreal.
Mental
And
when
even
you
so,
think
like
about
when
it.
I do have office days, like I can leave the house at like 8:15 and still get to work on time, like with a bit of time to spare. Like I could get, like no, I'd have to
Oh,
like line it up correctly. Like I'd have to make sure like like I'd have to get lucky with buses like kind of following up with each other. So I don't often do that, but like I wouldn't be leaving here before like 10 to 8. Like 8 o'clock would be kind of my average leaving time for here. Like just so I get into work with like 10-15 minutes to kind of get into the office and settle down and stuff but I could leave a bit later like.
it makes such a difference with that extra little bit of 15. Even 15 minutes makes a difference. Like I remember just as soon as I got my car, having to get the car to work instead of
Mm,
getting the bus. Like you're not freezing your ass at 6 a.m. in spring in Ireland, which is like 4 degrees,
mm,
raining, frosty, and you're getting on a bus with a lot of people who don't want to go to work as well. It can be a bit miserable. Whereas,
yeah,
like,
for
if you've
sure.
got the comfort of your own car, you got the shoes on, your coffee or your tea to go, and the car is nice and warm and fluffy, and you
I
get to
am
work in 10
considering
minutes. It's great.
once I do pass my driving test, driving to work because we only go into the office like
Yeah.
once a week now. It wouldn't be cheap in parking at all, but again, it's like I said, it's convenience. It would take me like 20 minutes to drive in and out from work, like because of public transport and rush hour and stuff. It'll take me like 45 minutes to get home, but like I said, like
Yeah.
it's normally like if I like from like 6 o'clock onwards, it'll take me 20 minutes to get to town, and then like kind of similar on the way back. Like once that kind of like peak hours come, like it's more when the traffic gets off the keys because the keys is a nightmare for traffic sometimes. But
Oh,
it's a lot better
stop.
since they switched. You were gone when they made that switch. It's like that area at O'Connell Bridge. You can't have domestic cars there. It's only like buses and commercial vehicles and stuff now.
It's changed now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's changed since August. So like I wasn't sure if that like was announced when you were still here.
Nah, I think when I drove in for your gig and I tried to go across that way on the way back because that was going, brings you back around, then back onto the 39A route. So
Yeah, yeah.
I tried that, but it wasn't there at the time. That's mad. That's good to know.
Mm.
There you
Yes,
go,
the next
folks.
person said that you're saving a lot of time in your day by working from home. Again, the travel sub kind of similar to what we were saying. This
Yeah.
this is my favorite response in favor of working from home. Not so no, not socially acceptable to scratch my balls in the office. I love that. I got a giggle out of that when I first read that.
Instead of
Um,
rubbing your balls against the table because you can't itch them, like when you're in school and like you have an itch and you're like, oh fuck, I can't itch this. So you like lean against the
yeah,
table and you're like scratching it.
or like the old classic, like put the bag when you're getting up for class, put the bag in front of you, quick scratch,
Do
and
a
off you
little do
go.
a little scratch.
It's like the school equivalent of doing like a quick U-turn.
Yeah.
And then we have one in favor of the office, saying this person feels like that they would lack motivation working from home.
Mm.
Um, I look, I said this last week, but I get more done at home because I've less distractions around me, but
Depends on the
it's
person.
very depends on the person exactly, so yeah, thanks very much for your submissions on that one, guys. Oh, and sorry, we have one more message as well. So I was going to click on The Office, but I think if I was to work from home, I'd get too distracted with cleaning groceries and probably fall asleep instead of working. So I'd rather sit in the office. For me, it's better to leave the place where you sleep and you're doing all your kind of home stuff, etc., and then have that in a separate area because then you've
Yeah,
got something to look forward to. Yeah,
I get that
I
too.
totally get that. Totally get that. Yeah. Because I'm a bit guilty of it myself sometimes. Where like I think more towards when I started the job when I was less busy and I had less responsibilities. Like now, not so much. Definitely not just saying this because in case my employer's listening, genuinely. But like when I first
Don't
started,
fire me.
when I first started, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take my hour lunch and I'm gonna go to the toilet and let the dog out and like be a bit more like I put a wash or two on and stuff as well. But now I'm kind of a bit more. I kind of just get like hyper focused in on it, but like I did, it's because
Mm.
I've less around. But I have to put my hands up and say, I think because I have my own office and I have my own space,
Yeah,
that
if you were
massively
just
helps. That
like in your sitting room and the TV was there and the kitchen's there, like you
yeah,
easily could just get up, make a sandwich, go watch the show, play PlayStation. So
yeah,
I
and
think it
then
really just depends on the person.
yeah, you'd notice more around the house. Like you'd notice like, oh, that needs to be cleaned or but like little things would like wreck your head. So like I get that. So like I also have to acknowledge that I'm very lucky to you know not want children, so I get to use the extra room in the house as an office. Get the snip for the audio listeners. Imran's making a snip there.
Swiper, no
um,
swiping.
so the next one was a little less popular. So we were asking people about journaling. Have people ever considered journaling, or would they not journal? So 83% said yes, they would consider journaling, and then we had 17% say that they wouldn't do it. And nobody actually sent us in at him regarding this, which I get. It's kind of a personal thing, like it's quite a personal like
Mm.
reasons why you would start doing it, or why you would stop, or why it might fluctuate can be quite personal. So I get why people didn't reply to that as well. Like but
I think as well.
sorry, you go on.
Sorry, I think as well. Like with the journaling, sometimes people think it's just about writing your emotions and writing what you have to do, but it genuinely could just be I need to do this at this time. For planning holidays, like having knowing how many days you have left in the year to take, so you can plan stuff with your mates. Even little stuff like that, I find personally, like I wouldn't really necessarily be like writing my emotions down onto paper, but I feel like that could work for people
Mm.
because some people aren't great at speaking their emotions and stuff like that. So definitely, I think people should think about it or even just attempt it for a couple of days and see how you feel.
It's my therapist is telling me to do it quite a lot. She's like even if you write it down, just throw it in the fire or like throw it away or rip it all
Mm,
up after. It's good. Like I never really got this before I started doing it, but it's like it's really true the statement of like once you write a problem that you've written down is half solved because you can kind of see it
yeah,
in front of you. And I do that all the time now. I have like even if it's just like sticky notes and stuff like which aren't like the tidiest and neatest and stuff. But what I like to do is like if like people are giving me stuff to do, like say I'm in work and I'm getting things to work left, right, and center, I'll just write on a sticky note. And even if it's something that'll take me 5 minutes to do in like 2 minutes, just write it down. So it's like right, it's there. You've kind of acknowledged it a bit more in a way, and then you can kind of like it's like physical and mental that you're like ticking it off.
mm,
No, it's quite rewarding. But like I wouldn't be able to operate without like a diary or a calendar or stuff like
mm.
for anybody who's watching the podcast, I have my trusted diary that I have that like maps out my weeks. I'd be lost without this. And it got so bad that this thing is so full that there you go. Imran just showed his as well.
Mine looks like a
Um,
Bible.
it does look like a Bible. Um, but I would be like, it got so bad. That's so full that I've had to start a second digital one with Simone because it's too hard to cross reference what's mine and what's ours. So we have
Mm,
like a set. So anything that's just me is all in that personal one, and anything that's the two of us is in there, in like in our little digital
yeah.
one. It's like a thing called couplet or something like that. Anybody who's like in a relationship and is busy or like has like opposite work schedules probably be good for you as well. It's really really handy. It was great
We
for us
use,
like trying to figure out like dates when we could come over to you guys.
I often use in my phone like just the notes section and then would like do like a daily planner and that at the start of the day when I like or the night before. And then as I go along, just green tick it So just to say like, okay, I've done that, and at the end of the day, just reset it. But then for like long term writing, I kind of use this. So like all the things I kind of like want to do, like for example, like skydiving is one of them. Do like a hot air balloon, but like this is just so like I don't forget it. And then like maybe like when I'm going into the next year, I'll be like, okay, so what else do I want to do this year? See if I can plan around it. And then of course, like now that I've moved and have my own place, it's having people coming over and visit. So like my mom's coming over in March, yourself and Simone are coming as well. Nicholas' cousin's coming. So it's kind of like all about like planning people in. But that's what I kind of use it for. But I can see like there's loads of different ways you can use it personally. Like people can write their emotions down, or if even if you forget something, like something like in the passwords or anything that you need to have. Like we have one for this podcast where we kind of share like information we can't talk about.
Actually, we don't. Now that you say that.
Never mind, actually.
For the 7 people that are listening, the password is I actually, do you know what? I nearly said something jokingly, but then I actually realized that that's actually what the password is. So
I know what you're gonna say.
like totally unintended, being like, oh yeah, it's gonna be that, and I'm like,
this gonna be like a
password
written
is, yeah.
request for everyone. It's something we've talked about before.
Yeah. Work from home 10. Or the chase. Shaun, get the Dog Destroyer. That's the password.
69.
Probably not the wisest idea to put that out there, but sure, look.
Look.
Honestly, if you guess it, fair play to you.
I mean, if you want that Crocs sponsorship so bad, you know what I mean?
Crocs, if you want access to the accounts, the password is.
Send me a giblet.
Oh man, yeah, giblets, big time.
How did you find playing your gig last week? Yeah, he also said to everyone before, like off camera, that he doesn't want to use this page like to talk about his music life. But I think it's just good to know
No,
that.
it's not that I don't want to. Of course, who doesn't want to talk about themselves, But I don't want to be like, oh, this is like, it's a separate thing. Like, I don't want people who like listen to who like are like listen to be like, oh god, it's going to be about Shaun's music and stuff. Like, I want to kind of create that separation, because I get like, so it's good to just have things separate, and I get that's not why people are tuning in. Like, some people are just tuning in because they're our mates, and some people are tuning in because they're my friends, and then some people are tuning in because they're your friends, and maybe not everybody wants to hear about this, because especially if they follow me, like, I don't stop posting, and I'm sure a lot of people are sick of me posting. Like, I'm actually taking next week to be like, I'm actually gonna just stop, because I've got lots of posting to do over like in March.
At Finstagram.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the gig was good. I'd say it was probably our best as a 4 piece. So me, for anybody who doesn't know, me and my guitar player Keen have been playing for over a year together now, and I did have 2 other members of my band, Jack and Shane, but Jack moved to Carlo, so he had to leave the band, and Shane was there to do that set, and when I asked him to continue on, he just was committed to other stuff, like, so couldn't commit to it. So now we have Billy and Adam, and their class, and we've played more gigs together as me, Keem, Billy, and Adam than we ever did with the other version of the band. But just because we've been getting booked more, because after we've done the headline gig, we got lots of footage, and more people saw us online as well, so we've had more inquiries, like, so it's a good thing. I'm trying to get myself into a position where I have a gig booked every single month of the year except May. I kind of want to take May off as a bit of a breather month, because at the start of summer we're gonna plan to do more stuff with the house, like we're gonna like power wash the garden and paint parts of the house, like, once the summer kicks in a bit more, because we're not as reliant on the fire to keep the whole house warm, like, because the house is freezing all the time. But yeah, like the gig. Sorry, I keep saying the gig and then talking about something else, but it went really well. It went really well. It was probably our best as the 4 of us. I blew my voice out. By the end of it, which is nothing new. There's like this part of Times Are Changing, one of my songs. You can find that on Spotify now. But there's a thing that we do live where, like, after the bridge, I don't know. I didn't do this in the sound list, but like I like basically jump from like a very normal note to a very high note. I go down and do like a big screech thing, but it makes or breaks the set, because if it's great, it's brilliant. But if I don't hit the note and I blow my voice out, it's it's a bit, And
like Fergie at the Super Bowl.
I was looking at Keane on stage, and like it's kind of like is he gonna get like kind of moment, and I basically like me and Keem were kind of laughing, being like, "Is he going to do it?" But I actually forgot to breathe before I did it. Which this note goes on for like 7 or 8 seconds, like which I was like ah at the end trying to scream. There's no out, and yeah, I blew my voice out for the last two songs, but it was fine. You know, we got asked to
You
play
live and
one
you
more song.
learn.
We got
There you
the whole place
go.
chanting for one more tune. Always great. And we didn't have another song to play. That was the only problem. So we had to like very quickly like improv something that we hadn't rehearsed in a
Working
while.
on.
So we done Teenage Dirtbag, which we hadn't done for months.
Fire.
So done that, gone well. So we're getting back into the studio. New songs are getting added to the set list, and yeah, I that's enough of my dripping self promo. I think what was that 3 minutes? 3 minutes is
Promo
enough.
dropping right now.
Yeah. Have you got anything you want to promo? Because I feel guilty and I feel like an asshole for being like, yeah, this is
Drink
my
water.
stage
Drink
time.
Evian water.
Drink water. Stay hydrated,
Drink
folks.
water. 8 hours sleep, folks. Which I don't do.
You can like give a shout out to the bar that you're working, or suppose you probably wouldn't
No.
want in case you have any of
Start
the OG
journaling.
fans. Start journaling.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. What was it? Oh, I had something to ask you there. After totally slipping out of my head.
Literal
So,
brain fart is happening
yeah,
right now in front of me.
very very live, very live.
This week I've like been working a lot on like kind of the office, so I sent Sean a photo earlier. So like they've got a vinyl player coming, got a sound bar, got a shelving unit now. I just need to nail it into the wall. All these like DIY things, but it was so funny because me and Nick did the shelving unit together, and we were doing so well until we got like halfway into it, where I was like screwing the screws in sideways, and then Nicola was just convincingly shouting at me to like do them straight, and then like I'd be like, no, it's not that, and then we do it, and then I realized, oh yeah, they're not in straight. So this like continued on with the DIY, and just I need to improve.
Yeah, I'm desperate at DIY as well. Like Nicola and
DIY.
Simone have been like lifesavers for the two of us.
They're like having a dad, a girlfriend and a dad at the same time.
All right, well that's an interesting analogy.
Look, I said it. Okay, it's not going back now.
Yeah, did you? I know you said did you like know what did you get at nice for Valentine's Day? Did you get a nice romantic card? Did you get a little teddy bear of any sorts?
We just this year we didn't really go all out because we normally tend to, and this year we were like, okay, let's get something nice for the house together, and we'll just watch a movie, make like we made like food together,
Yeah, your
kind of did
cheeseburger from
everything
day one.
together, which is kind of nice because we normally would like go a bit out for Valentine's Day, but like I don't know, like it's kind of another thing for the poll. Valentine's Day to me kind of can be a bit too much where there's like too much pressure on people to get presents.
Mm.
But I think like it all depends. Like as a couple, if you want to make a big thing out of them, I just don't think you should spend one day of the year getting something nice for your girlfriend. You should do it like I don't know, like every second week, month or
Like
whatever.
this fella's
Like
trying to
whatever.
get
You
the
know,
brownie
you know what
points
I
in.
mean? You know what I
Them
mean? Get the
them
money.
brownies are in the oven and they're getting baked for points.
Bit of whipped cream on that. Bit of ice cream. Yeah. No. I don't know. Like that's just my opinion. Another thing for the poll, I think Valentine's Day is a little bit overrated and people spend way too much money, but we still celebrate it. So
Mm.
who am I to
Because
talk? You know what I mean?
we do go a little bit more overboard for Valentine's, but that's because we don't celebrate Christmas. Well, I don't celebrate Christmas, so like
There you go.
that's like we don't do Christmas presents, we don't do Christmas cards or anything like that. So we kind of make up for that by doing a bit more Valentine's Day. Then, you know, Simone bought me a drum machine for Valentine's Day, so
Cool.
I think she regretted that quite soon after that because I had set it up. It's over here in the corner, and
Yeah.
it's a drum machine. So like it's not an acoustic drum set, so it's not super loud or anything like that, but I'm still there. They got whacking, and like I used to be able to play drums a little bit, but not properly. I'm like I need to get better at it, and it's been something I've been kind of talking about doing for a while. And she's like, "Oh, I was going to buy you an electric kit," but I think she's already starting to reap her decision.
Regret it. I noticed that we only have a minute left,
Yeah,
guys.
so we're
So
gonna have to wrap up because we're still on the free Zoom plan. So we'll let you do the outro again, Imran. So yeah, I'll just say thank you so much for all tuning into the Distance Dilemma, and we'll see you again next week. I'll hand it over to you, Imran.
yeah, I agree with Sean. Thanks for everyone for the support lately. It's been brilliant, and hopefully we get premium Zoom for quick early soon. Please, you're Sean. Let's do it.
Right, we'll discuss. Maybe our Crocs sponsorship will pay for it.
Yes, shout out to Crocs. Crocs, please
Right,
sponsor us. Please sponsor us, Crocs.
right. Bye, guys. Thanks very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.